Weekly Sauce, episode 40. We hit the big 4-0, Alex. This is a special episode for me. Again, this episode is brought to you by Mike's BBQ Rub, MTL. Visit Mike's BBQ Rub, MTL.com, and hot sauce 10 for 10% off the entire site. I don't know, man. Last week we had Amar Sedic on, Bosnian. I don't know what kind of spices they can add there. The week before that, we had Lambros on, Greek. We pitched an idea to get a tzatziki sauce going. But Mike's BBQ Rub, I think they need to get like a za'atar kind of spice going for the guests that we have coming on today. As usual, my name is Terry Tam. Alex, the intern, how's it going, buddy?
I'm doing incredible, man. I'm so happy about Eamon coming on. Super pumped. I've been following him for a long time. And I think Mike's BBQ Rub should do a hummus, bro. That's what Mark. Yeah, I think that's what they should do, man.
Hummus. No, I think you get like a labneh with like the za'atar on it. No. I mean, am I saying it properly? Eamon, how's it going, buddy?
Hey, Arabic's getting pretty good there, bud.
Yeah, not bad. I had this thing this week. It was called Halo Tajibin. It's probably the best thing I've ever had in my life.
Yeah.
The best.
Awesome dessert.
Yeah.
Yeah,
so how's it
delicious.
going, man? Thanks for coming on. We appreciate it.
Yeah, thank you. My pleasure, man. Glad to be on, man.
It's so you're back in Montreal, I guess?
Yeah, I got back to Montreal. I was happy that I got an exemption from the quarantine. They respected the UFC bubble, so I was really happy about that.
Good, because I know how tough it can get, especially coming back. Is the law still there where you have to go to a hotel for 2 weeks?
I beat the law by 6 hours, but I just saw today on Rebel News, man, one guy walked out of there after spending 23 hours and he just took a ticket. But I don't know if it's going to hold up these tickets in court, you know?
What do you mean you got a ticket?
Because you're supposed to spend 3 days in the hotel, right? And after 23 hours, he's like, you know what? I'm done staying here. I don't like being in here. So he wanted to leave. So they wanted to stop him from leaving. So he called the cops. And the cops came in and he's like, listen, man, just give me a fine. I'm leaving. So they gave him a $3,000 fine. And he went home.
Just $3,000 fine. That's it. He said, fuck it. They're going to give him.
I don't know if they're going to chase him now or what they're going to do with him. But this is like, I just saw the story on Rebel News on YouTube earlier today. I got to follow up, man. I can't wait to see what happens with this guy.
I love it. I mean, it's crazy to see what we have to go through just to travel and work. For you, it's work, right?
Yeah, for me it's work. Because the thing is, I went now to get paid, right? So I did a job. I fought, so I got an exemption. But I would love to go train right now in Puerto Rico with my buddies, John Danaher and the Death Squad. Those guys out there. I would love to just go 2 weeks and come back. But if I go 2 weeks there, then I have to quarantine in my house for 2 weeks. It's a real pain in the butt, you know?
Yeah. Do you have a gym in your place?
In my place? What do you mean? No, in my house. No, I live in a condo now. I just bought a house. I'm moving in October. But I'll build a gym in my garage there. But for now, I just train low key.
Yeah, you gotta sneak.
Listen, guys, we're not gonna talk too much about training. I don't want them coming my. I keep my mouth shut.
I don't know about too many government officials listen to the episode, but we don't want to risk it.
There's always somebody listening or some hater gonna snitch out. You don't know, man.
That's it. So the quarantine, I guess it was tough to like cut weight and stuff like that. I mean, you were training out there. So did you do your whole camp here?
Yeah, I did my whole camp here. I did a lot of training outside, man. Honestly, I felt like I was Rocky when he was going to fight Drago in Russia. I was doing a lot of my training outside in the front of the house. I'm sure my neighbors thought I was crazy because they don't all know what I do for a living, right? So I brought some equipment from TriStar. I got my medicine ball, my kettlebells, and things like that. I'm running up and down the street. I'm doing circuits out there. -20, it didn't matter. But, it was good for the mental. It was really good for the mental because I was thinking to myself, this American guy, there's no way he's going through winter like me.
No, there's no way. Where did he come from?
No way.
Idaho or whatever it is?
Iowa, I think.
Iowa? I mean, it gets pretty cold. I mean, I don't know how, not as Montreal cold, that's for sure.
Yeah, not much cold. It's way more south than here, but still, man.
And it's crazy.
And I was wondering if he had a lockdown or not where he was.
Honestly, the States, you don't even know anymore who has a lockdown and who doesn't. But I assume that he was able to train. But that's another thing I wanted to tell you is like through a quarantine, training here, having to do it outside, you're still having to make weight, and Draco Rodriguez ended up missing weight. I mean, you ended up knocking him out and kind of teaching him a lesson.
Yeah.
So, I mean, we don't know what happened to him, but it's this thing with fighters. It's like you got to make weight. That's the only thing you have to do is make weight.
You know what? I didn't say this on my other interviews. I just thought about it now. Is that when we got, because we do a face-off, and after the face-off, you walk off the platform and you go behind the curtain, behind that wall that they have set up, and I felt like he wanted to tell me something, and I just blurted it out. And I'm like, listen, how did you miss weight, man? How could you miss weight? Because to me, it's his first fight in the UFC. How can you do that, man?
Yeah.
It doesn't make sense. He's 24 years old. Like, it's harder for an older guy to make weight than a younger guy, especially your big shot to make it in the UFC. He just looked at me. He's like, I don't know. I came in heavy. I don't know what happened. And I just walked away from him. I was so upset. Like, in the moment, I was very upset. And then as we were leaving, he stopped my brother and he shook my brother's hand. He's like, Coach, I'm sorry. I didn't mean to miss weight. The kids felt really embarrassed, you know, and I don't know what went wrong. You know, he's made weight. He fought 13 times in the amateur. He fought 8 times in the pro circuit before UFC. Like, I don't know. I was just upset. But in the end, I got the bonus, man. And I don't know if that helped. I don't know if it helped that he missed weight. They're like, listen, he took the fight anyway, this, that. Let's give him the bonus. Whatever it is, I'm happy.
What's the limit to the amount of pounds that you can be over for the fight to be canceled? Is there a limit?
I didn't have to accept the fight. So the fight, like, listen, you miss. So let's say our weight class is 135. But if it's a non-title fight, they actually put in your contract 136. Okay. So they give everybody a 1 pound if it's a non-title fight. And the fight is off. If you're 136.1, fight's off. Okay. So I have to accept the fact that it's still on. But so when they came to me, they're like, listen, he's off by 4.5 pounds. And my brother told Sean Shelby, he's like, listen, he's got 2 hours left because you have to weigh in between 9 in the morning and 11. Mm-hmm. And we want him to get as low as possible. He's like, no, he already started drinking. There's no way he can dehydrate himself more. Now it's done. So you don't have to fight. But if you do want to fight, I'll change. I'll give you a brand new contract. And I'll guarantee you that if you lose this fight tomorrow, I'll give you one more chance to perform. So then I could have walked away from the fight. The fight was canceled. They would have had to pay me anyway. Mm-hmm. Or do I roll the dice? You know what I mean? I had to roll the dice, man. They
real gave me fighters contract. Roll the dice, though.
They roll the dice, man.
You got to do what you got to do, man. And it's good. I mean, and you said it in your press conference after that they took care of you and you signed a new contract too, right? Which is great.
Yeah, new contract. I mean, listen, they had me kind of cornered too because I got 2 kids, man. I want to make money. I got to fight. And I've been training my whole life to fight. I made it all the way here to fight, you know. So the contract really helped ease my choice because then I didn't have to worry about losing my job because it was the last fight of my contract and I wanted to win. You know,
and you got the performance bonus of the night too, so it was nice.
Yeah, it was awesome, man. It was amazing. Honestly, it was like I gotta thank Draco now. Like now, I gotta thank him for that one. Best fight of my career, for sure.
I wanted to ask you, what have you changed? What have you changed in terms of training and mental preparation since your last loss?
Yeah. Listen, man, the mental aspect was for me. It was the hardest piece to overcome because. Ever since I signed my contract in UFC, I've always wanted to fight for a bonus. Okay, I don't fight really for the money, but I want to be known for my performances. You know, like win or lose, it doesn't matter as much to me, but I want to look great. But in my first fight, like I did a great job. Like I rocked the guy in round 1 and then I dropped him in round 2, but then I got poked in the eye, so the rest of the fight didn't go great. And I was forcing it so hard in my second fight with Ramos that I got knocked out because I went too crazy. Then my third fight, I took it too conservative, so I did a lot of mental work, reading a lot of like self-help books and psychological books to help me find who I am mentally. Like who am I? How do I think to perform my best? Because naturally, I feel like I lean towards too much aggression. Like I'm too much of an aggressive fighter normally. So I worked on myself on like how not to be too conservative, not to be too aggressive. And I read this great book. It's called The Tools. And it gave me the best mantra, man. I love the pain will set me free. I love the pain will set me free. So that I would be ready to take over any adversity. And no matter what shot I ate, I was ready to just keep going forward in this fight.
It's crazy how just specific words can just like change your mindset completely.
Yeah. And for me, that it triggered it for me. And then I ended up switching it up. Like I ended up changing it to, I love the fear. The fear will set me free. Because the pain is one thing. Physical pain is okay. You can deal with it. But that fear of getting knocked out was what was holding me back.
Yeah, and I mean, listen, it was a great counter shot. I mean, you set it up beautifully. It was awesome, and he buckles, and it was nice to watch. And honestly, kudos to you. I think it was the way it all ended out. I think it was great. You're coming off of 2 losses. Your decision, I thought you won too.
Me too.
Split, but I thought you won, and it's tough, but that's the luck of the draw, right? It's going to happen. You got to come out, and like you said, it was playing in your head, and you come back, you refocus, and your training partner, George, we won't talk about him too much, but George is the type of guy where he when he got knocked out by Matt Serra, he came back a whole different guy. Mentally, he came back a whole different guy.
Yeah, listen, if you ask him about that fight, it was because he was partying for that training camp. He barely trained for that fight, then he got KO'd. And he knew it. Like he said that once the cage door closed, he knew he wasn't ready. But only in that moment, which was interesting because me, when I was fighting my fight against Vince Morales, every round I was feeling like, oh man, I don't want to get knocked out. Like don't open up.
Yeah.
And the more the fight went, the more I felt the fear, and that's why in the end I changed my mantra to the fear will set you free. The feel like as long as I overcome it and I face it, I can get past it. The glory's on the other side of it, man.
Quarterbacks in football say it all the time. If you think interception, you're going to throw an interception.
Yeah, man. It's crazy. It's almost like you're reinforcing that pattern.
I wanted to. You mentioned
Exactly.
the Danaher Death Squad and going to train in Puerto Rico.
Yeah.
I want to talk about Danaher Death Squad for a different reason. I've
Yeah.
been training jiu-jitsu for 12 years. I know who Gordon Ryan is.
Okay, awesome.
Yeah. So what happened?
Wait a second. Training 12 years. What are you training, Montreal? You want to come see us, man?
Gracie Baja. I almost switched.
Gracie,
I'm at Gracie Baja West Island with Glenn. So you know.
Oh, with Glenn. Okay,
Yeah,
tell
I'm, a
Glenn
brown,
what's
I'm
up,
a
man.
brown belt over there, so it's pretty
Awesome.
yeah,
Congrats,
yeah.
man.
I almost switched to TriStar when my contract ended at downtown. I was almost like, fuck this shit. I just want to do like no gi. So I was almost gonna switch to TriStar, but I had moved to Laval. So I was like, I'm not gonna go to Laval and back, whatever. So I was like, but I'm always in the West Island, so I just ended up switching to West Island. And I love Glenn. Glenn's a great guy. So
Yeah, Glenn's a great dude, man.
yeah, he's unbelievable. So but I have come to TriStar a few times. I have done a few classes there.
Okay, cool,
Yeah,
man.
and I will come by. So I will come by again, but I'm a big guy, so I'll probably just like get on top of you and see if I can smash you.
Yeah, come, man. I love
260
to.
pounds, man.
I love to, man. Doesn't matter to me. Doesn't matter to me, man. Listen, now you talk that smack that I'm going to see when you walk in the door. Man.
100%. You'll see.
Hey,
You'll see the
see it.
long hair. It's not gonna be. I'll wear the same sweater just so you know.
Okay, perfect.
Yeah. So Gordon Ryan slapping Aldrich Galval. Honestly,
Yeah.
you saw what happened, I assume.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's your boy. I honestly, I don't love it, but I like it. The reason why is because I'm kind of tired of this whole mentality that you have to respect people because they come from a certain country in the jiu-jitsu world in BJJ. And I think that Gordon Ryan is a guy who stands on his shield and he's like, fuck this shit. If you're going to disrespect me, then you're going to get a smack in the mouth. And I wanted to know what your thoughts were about that, knowing Gordon Ryan a little more personally than I do.
Listen, man. On a personal level, Gordon is one of the most respectful guys. Then the only time he takes it to a disrespectful area is when he feels disrespected, you know? And Galval did pull the middle finger on him when he went to go shake his hand. Listen, is that a classy move? To me, it's not a classy move. You know what I mean? Like Gordon's guy, Craig Jones, won fair and square, man.
100%.
He didn't do anything dirty. And coaches and fighters, when they come across that mat, you shake your hand. That's all respect. You know, when your warriors fight, win or lose, we have to respect each other. So when he disrespected him there, like I can understand where Gordon now he's like, okay, now the gloves are off. And then when he's chirping Gordon when Gordon's doing an interview, and Gordon comes to see him and he gets in Gordon's face, and then they shove each other. This and that. He got physical first. You know what I mean? Like, if it was up to me, if I was Galval, I would have at least slapped back, minimum.
That's the part that scares me.
That's the minimum because, look, you shoved him. Then Gordon escalated with a slap. And now there's a minimum requirement of a slap, or now you got to take him down, you got to hit him, you got to let's rock and roll. Because they're both trained athletes. It's not like Gordon's a fighter and Galval is not a fighter. He's a coach. He's not like a retired coach. You know?
He's fought
he's
last year
an
against
athlete.
Felipe Pena.
Exactly. So, and if they started rolling, people would have separated it.
Yeah.
So it wasn't going to be that big of a deal. It's not like they were going to start punching each other and knocking each other out. These guys are not boxers.
Yeah.
They would have just.
But that smack, though, that smack was loud and it was impressive, I will say. But
I just saw. I don't know if it's real, but I just saw somebody made a poster. Are they actually competing against each other now, or no?
No, I don't think Galval would take that fight.
That was a fake poster, or what?
For sure. I mean, I don't know. I haven't heard anything, but I haven't.
Yeah, because he wanted something like $1 million to have a match with him, which makes no sense. There's no
$1 million. There's no $1 million in jiu-jitsu.
There's no $1 million. I think the most is $100K for ADCC. Let's say you win ADCC, okay, and then you don't compete in the tournament. The next time you get a super match, and I think Galval made $100K one time, which is not bad.
I think it can come up to like, I mean, I don't know if it comes up to $1 million, but with pay-per-view buys, with and stuff, I don't think so. I mean,
not even close.
Listen, it's getting higher, and Gordon Ryan is like one of the highest paid. I think he is the highest paid. You know,
he's probably the highest paid. Yeah,
100% he is. He has to be. He's the amount that he talks and how good he is. You know, and he kills everybody. Anyway, so I just wanted to get your take on it because you know the guy. I've met him too. I went to Henzo's in New York and I've trained there, and I met Gordon Ryan for 2 seconds, and he seemed like a nice guy. They all do, you know what I mean? And
let me tell you something. From white belt to black belt, if anybody has a question in the room, you can ask Gordon. He takes care of everybody.
Yeah.
But if you disrespect him, he forget you. He doesn't. Thing is, what's good about Gordon is he understands that he doesn't need anybody, right? Like he needs his team. Like his team are his boys for sure. But if you're on the outside and you treat him like shit, he doesn't need you. Why should he respect you? But if you show him respect, he'll always show respect back.
Absolutely.
Always, no matter what it is.
Which is how life should be. Amen.
Yeah, exactly.
You know what I mean? Like it's how it should be. Draco, he missed weight. He apologized to your brother. That's respect. That's respect.
Yeah, that's respect. You know
what I mean? Like you ended up teaching him a little bit of a lesson in the ring, which was great.
Yeah, no, for sure. And we spoke after. Like it's all good, man. Things are all good between us. Like I'm not mad at him anymore. You know?
Of course, yeah.
But listen, I want to see the match. Gordon versus Andre. It's got to happen, guys. It's got to happen for Galvao now.
It has.
Like, Gordon doesn't. Gordon needs the match even less.
Yeah.
Like now, if Gordon refuses to fight him, it's worse for Galvao. Like if I was Galvao, I'd be begging Gordon to fight me, man. Fight me, man. Let's do it.
He got scared. He didn't anticipate that slap, and it was a good slap. And he didn't anticipate it, and he's like, "What? Like he just he didn't register what was going on." You know what I mean? And Gordon, kudos to him, man. You know, and he's a good
listen. I'm not saying it's for sure Gordon's gonna win the match.
I think,
but I favor him in that match.
Oh, 100%.
There's no guarantees in life. You know, you never know. You never know.
I think Galvao would start losing that fight and then just lose his mind and go crazy against Gordon, and then the fight's gonna end there.
It depends on the rule set they choose, but he may never have to actually engage. You know.
I get what you're saying. That's
true. You know what I mean. And so there could be no winner. Like let's say there was a match, Nicky Ryan versus Uriah Faber. I don't know if you guys saw it.
Yeah, of course I saw it.
Yeah.
Listen, Nicky's for sure much better at grappling.
He is, but he's
fighting. But it's hard to sub a guy when you know when you could you can play around a bit.
Well, it's the famous Brendan Schaub shutdown. You know, they call it Brendan.
Yeah,
Schaub
you shut the guy down.
Yeah,
it is what it is, man.
You
need the guy to engage.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah,
I mean, people don't like it. I do the same thing. It's called the Terry Time shutdown. I just don't engage.
It's not easy to sub a guy, man. No. If a guy refuses to engage, you can't sub him.
It's also the best feeling in the world when you do sub one, especially in competitions. Alex has a question. I'll let him go. Then I'll ask you a question.
Yeah. Yeah. So after your fight in your press conference, you joked around about saying, "Hey, the next opponent is Ariel Helwani," but realistically speaking, like eventually, like maybe on your third fight, because I know you have 3 fights left on your contract. Yeah. Let's say on your third fight, who do you eventually see? Like, what's your goal? Like, who do you want to beat in a welterweight division?
I mean, I would love to fight Sean O'Malley just because he's got a huge following, and I don't know why. I don't know why why people love him so much. Like nothing about what he says and does is interesting to me. Like I just find he's just a guy who does drugs and plays video games.
You guys are two very different people.
Yeah, like I don't get it. To me, I just don't get that whole thing. I just don't get it. I would love to take that clout though. I would love to take some of his fans if I beat him. You know, it'd be nice. It'd be nice to just whatever, take some of those people over.
They won't like you because you're too nice of a guy. They won't like you. They don't like that content.
Yeah, they probably won't like me. Yeah, makes no sense. But anyways, whatever. I'd fight anybody, bro. But right now, what I gotta do is I gotta watch tape on the guys who fought recently and figure out who's available and get a match for May or June, hopefully.
The state of the bantamweight division. What do you think it's at? I mean, we have a big fight coming.
Oh, it's amazing, man. Yeah. This bantamweight, it's got to be one of the best divisions in the UFC.
I think
for sure. There's a ton of killers, man.
Yeah,
I think we have like 90 fighters in the UFC in our weight class, and there's like 550 fighters on the roster.
That's crazy.
We have a huge weight class, man.
Yeah, and what do you think's gonna happen this weekend? I mean, this is gonna be aired on Tuesday, but let's see if we can.
Yeah, listen, I don't really bet, but I favor Jan over Aljamain, and that's with respect to Aljamain. I just think Jan's style beats Aljamain's style more than anything.
I can see that.
But if Aljamain is coming with the dog mentality to shoot relentlessly and no matter what, go for that takedown and wrap him up, he can win. I think that's his path to victory. If he does the mistake of fighting with fear in the striking, he's gonna pay for it big.
Oh, yeah, I feel the same way. I think Aljamain Sterling, the way I see him winning, it's really if he like finishes him by submission, because
he's got to go for it.
He's got to go for it. Peter Yan's a really great boxer. He's he trains boxing a lot, and I feel like he might KO Aljamain Sterling. we saw it with the fight with Aldo, how Peter Yan started off really slow and then picked up the pace, and then just ground and pound him, and yeah, that's it. That's all. And I feel like that's
the game plan. Listen, there's Aljamain who fights with hesitation in the striking, and there's the Aljamain who shows up and he doesn't hesitate when it comes to striking. If the one that doesn't hesitate shows up, he's got a much better chance of taking him down. If he's a little bit afraid of Yan's power or a little bit doubtful that he's going to get outstruck and he fights with a little bit of reserve in the takedowns, I don't see him winning.
It's a very interesting matchup, and I think that just the way you guys are talking back and forth, and it's like this has to happen. It's a very interesting matchup for me. Other than that, where are you ranked now? Are you ranked? Are we going to wait?
No, I'm not ranked yet. No, not yet.
So what's the next fight for you? What's your 3-fight plan since you have 3 fights left on your contract?
Well, right now, this week, what I'm doing is basically watching the last 5-6 events and finding all the bantamweights who fought on it, all the ones who won, all the ones who lost, and I got to make myself a list of guys I want to fight, and I got to cross-reference that with who's already booked, and then send it to the UFC and see if any of those guys put me on their list. Let's see if we match up.
Because you didn't call anybody out, so that's how I actually wanted to ask you what's the process with the UFC? And
confusing. That's what it is. It's very confusing.
I mean, all I see is Dana White's wall with all the names on it. That's all I see all the time.
Guys, I still don't understand. I've been in the UFC 4 years, man. I don't get it. It's like a Rubik's cube for me, you know. And let's say now, because I wanted to fight after that decision loss I had with Vince. I wanted to fight pretty soon after. Because I took no damage, guys. I took no damage, and every time they called me to offer me fights, there's two really type scenarios in the UFC. First scenario is they call you and they ask you if you want to fight a guy. Okay, from what I have understood from these phone calls, okay, is I say yes or no. If you say yes, you're on a list of options for a guy. So they probably called the guy and said, or that guy called and said, I have these names. And then they call each guy and they see if he's willing to fight. Okay, so I say yes. Now they go back to the guy. Okay, if these guys said yes, okay, I'll go with this guy. So then I don't get the fight, but I don't get a call back saying you didn't get it. I'm just waiting now for weeks.
You're looking at Twitter
because I said yes. I'm getting ready for this guy. I'm watching tape on him. I'm like, okay, I'm getting ready. You know, and then, but the thing is, if you say no, let's say they call you and they say you want this guy, and you say no, now they'll put you at the bottom of the list. You lose your seniority, you lose your place of waiting to get a call.
Okay,
you get what I'm saying? Yeah. So everyone says yes. Almost nobody says no.
Yeah.
One time I said no, and it's because my kids were. I was expecting my daughters to be born that week, and they wanted me to fight in 3 weeks. And I was gonna say yes, and my brother's like, "There's no way, man. You're not gonna sleep for 3 weeks." I'm like, "Yeah, okay."
That's true. Yeah.
That was brutal, you know.
And it's your money, it's your livelihood. You want to support the 2 daughters, right? Your
I want to support. And then I was like, okay, if I fight, then I have a month off, you know, whatever. But forget it. And then, so this last year and a half, I was saying yes, and I guess I wasn't getting picked or whatever for whatever reason. Maybe the matchups weren't good or the timing wasn't good. And then me and another guy had agreed to fight each other, but then COVID hit, and this was before Dana White decided to just keep going. Mm-hmm. So then it fell through, and then when they reopened the UFC, I called Sean Shelby right away. I'm like, "Oh yeah, let's just put this fight together." And he's like, "Okay, perfect. We're already gonna sign the contract, you know." So he calls the guy, and the guy's like, "No, I'm changing weight class."
Oh.
So then back on the list, but I didn't lose my seniority or whatever. So they kept calling me. I kept saying yes, and it didn't work out till Draco.
Are you gonna stay at bantamweight?
Yeah, for sure. It's great. I can't go down. There's no way I'm going down.
Yeah, fuck that shit.
There's no way I'm going down. Maybe I'll go up one day, but for now it's 135. Well, it's too easy for me. To make the weight is too easy.
What do you walk around at, 150?
155, yeah.
Yeah, okay, that's good. Yeah, so what's harder, training for a camp or raising twin daughters?
Oh my god. It's a good trick question. It's good. Listen, the camps were hard for the mental, man. But the kids, you know, it's a different beast. It's a different animal, man. But I love them. They're great. They're rewarding in 2 different ways. But they bring me happiness, the kids, for sure.
That's it. It gives you a purpose, right?
Yeah, it gives me that purpose, man. That's my why.
So I've seen on Twitter that you tweeted a lot about Bilal Muhammad, and I'm also high on him. I've seen his last fight, and he performed really well. What do you see in him, and do you think he can potentially, be a champion?
Man. He's got a heart, man. He's got a heart. He's got dedication. He's like, listen. Like when they talk about Tom Brady when he got selected in the draft, like what was he, like the sixth round pick or something?
Yeah. That front.
He's got the worst freaking stats, man. You know what I mean? I'm not saying Bilal is unathletic or anything like that, but I'm just saying, like, but they couldn't rip open Tom Brady's chest and see his heart. They didn't understand his discipline, his hard work, his ethic. And I feel like the people who count Bilal Muhammad out is because they don't see his work ethic. And I don't even know him that much. I only know him a little bit, but I can tell who he is, what his character is, and he's got a great story.
Yeah, Alex and I are super high on him. We spoke about him a bunch. I mean, he's I love watching him fight. I think he's one of the most entertaining fighters.
Great fight. And he had a rough start too, right? He had a rough start in the UFC.
His style is going to have a rough start, right? He's out there. He's a brawler, right? He's going to get hit or miss.
He's in your face.
Yeah, he doesn't stop. And he's set up to fight Leon right now, right?
I love that. Yeah, I love that he's taking that chance, man.
Yeah.
And you know what? Listen, I respect all other promotions for sure. But one thing that's so great about the UFC is you can fight for the title like that, man. Yeah. Like that, man. Even in bantamweight, it happened one time. TJ had an opponent that pulled out. And I can't remember who he fought, but the guy took it on 24 hours notice, bro. He just decided to fight for the title. He was already on the card, but still, he got bumped up to the title fight.
Against TJ?
And he went 4 rounds. He went 4 or 5 rounds with him.
Against TJ?
He got TKO'd.
I don't remember that. But, I mean, there's Al Iaquinta is another example.
Oh, it happened to him too, yeah?
Well, Iaquinta, he fought Khabib. Remember when Tony Ferguson...
that was short notice?
He was supposed to fight on that card, but his fighter bailed.
Yeah,
so
exactly.
He fought Khabib for the title, yeah.
That's a huge opportunity, man. And I love that, man. I love that opportunity. I love that. This fight... Like, for me now, this fight changed my life. Like, the contract I got plus the bonus, it changed everything for me, man. And I was almost not going to take the fight because of the weight. 4.5 pounds is, in fighting, it's huge, man.
Well, we appreciate you taking the fight. And like I said, as soon as I saw that Leon and Bilal announced, I tweeted right away. I said, take all my money. Like, I'll watch this fight 10 times, man. Like, both those guys are great
if he wins this fight, he could come out with his own documentary on Netflix. That's it. Bilal Muhammad, man. Remember the name, guys. I love the way he promotes himself. He's such a great guy, man. Honestly, like, I'm a fan of his.
Yeah, same here.
Do you think he can beat Usman?
That's a tough fight.
That's a tough fight.
Listen. You gotta be honest, but can he beat him? Is there a chance? It depends on the training camp. It depends what he does, guys. Listen, when it comes to fighting, it's like football, okay? Like in football, they invest in coaches who go above and beyond in game planning, in strategy, in finding a way to bring the team together, in finding a hole in the other team's game. Like they study tape and they do all this stuff. The same thing with fighting. It's just on a smaller scale. It's for one guy. You got to prepare one athlete to go fight one athlete, But if you come from a camp where they have a good mindset and they understand that they got a game plan and they got to find holes in the other guy's game.
Yeah.
And if the guy's fast, they got to slow him down. If the guy's got no cardio, we got to redline him. If the guy's weakness is this, we got to do that. If you have a coach like that, anybody can beat anybody.
It's crazy how your coaches can change you, and it doesn't matter. You don't need to come from a TriStar anymore. You don't need to come from a Greg Jackson's anymore. I mean, watching Adesanya's interviews, and he's talking about how he knew years ago he was striking wise, he was ahead of most of the competition, and he's coming.
Yeah, but he's got a high level striking coach.
He has a high level, but we didn't know about Eugene for a long time. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
That's what I'm saying.
He's just under the radar.
Under the radar. There's so many gems out there, and you lived and you grew up with one of the best, right? So you were kind of spoiled in that regard. But when it comes down to it, you need to have somebody behind you that's going to be able to push the right buttons and make sure that to guide you in the right.
Yeah, for sure. But don't forget, when me and Firas were coming up, Firas wasn't a master. You know what I mean? He became a master. But when I started learning from my brother, he was just a blue belt. That's the thing that people forget is that at TriStar we never had jiu-jitsu. Yeah, blue belt in jiu-jitsu, and at TriStar we never had a master. Our masters were far away. Like at one point we had Bruno, but Bruno left us.
Yeah, Bruno Fernandez.
Yeah, he left us, bro, and then we lost him.
My sensei. Don't talk shit.
Yeah, now he's your sensei now. Yeah. And when he left TriStar, he had his own school and whatever. Then we had no black belt. Okay, well, we're gonna get a black belt. We had John. Okay, but John's in New York, so we got to drive down to New York, man. You got to go all the way there to get technique. You got to do all these things. You got to watch stuff online. You got to figure it out. You got to trial and error. So it took us a long time for us to build the knowledge and the depth and the trial and error and stuff. And we had guys in that era still making to the UFC, still fighting for titles. You know, like we had Rory, we had George, we had David Loiseau fought for a belt. You know, it's so many good guys, even though we didn't have a true master pushing us. So a lot of it is hard, a lot of it is discipline, a lot of it is courage, you know, and pushing the pace and conditioning. So many things.
And other than, I mean, you're the up and coming, you're the new guy in the gym, right? I mean, especially after this win. Who else in the gym that we might not have heard of? And I think I know who you're gonna say.
Listen, I don't know if you've heard of Mandel Nalo.
Yeah, I knew you were gonna say him. Yeah.
Listen, he's gonna blow up, man. Listen, every time this guy throws any strike, it's gonna be it's almost a home run. It's almost a guaranteed home run.
He's
you know what I mean? Yeah, he's incredible, guys, and he's got 2 viral knockouts already.
Mm-hmm.
You know, and he's fighting, I think, soon, April 2nd, maybe. And I think, you know, I would put my money that he's gonna have another viral video. This guy's a killer, man. This guy's a killer.
He's intense, man. He's a different human. Right?
Yeah,
he's a little...
and also I would also mention that somebody who's super underrated, who's actually also in the UFC, 7-fight win streak in the UFC, is Arnold Allen.
Oh, of course, yeah. I didn't know he was training out with you guys.
Yeah, he's been with us for years, man.
I noticed it on Twitter.
Yeah, he's been with us for years, bro. Years. Great guy, amazing guy. But what's crazy, like, let me tell you something. Like, you know, we were talking about matchmaking before.
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you guys are tired of this subject, but this is how crazy matchmaking is in the UFC. He's won 7 straight. He only fights once a year in the UFC.
Too many fighters. But that's
it's crazy, man.
That's why they're cutting everybody now, right? So
it's crazy, and he's a UK fighter. You know what I mean? Like, he's got fans there. He's got fans in North America, and like they should be. He should be fighting 2-3 times a year.
Yeah,
you know. And he's
Definitely.
like, in the UFC, he submitted a black belt. He submitted Mads Burnell, and he was losing that fight, man. Listen, he choked out a black belt after, like, you know, I think it was like 1 round apiece, but it wasn't looking good, man. It wasn't looking good, and he ended up choking him out, man.
that's crazy.
You know, now we call that choke the Allen key, okay? Because his last name is Allen. He called the Allen key. Submitted a black belt.
That's sick. That's actually,
you know what I mean? He's
that's
a beast,
name,
bro.
That's a good name.
We gotta promote this kid. I'm telling you, he's amazing.
Well,
he's amazing too.
Let him know, and we'll have him on. We'll talk to him. I'd love to.
Yeah,
we'll
let him know.
Yeah, I'll send.
He's fighting soon too, so you know it'll be good for him to be on your show, promote his fight, especially for Canadians, because I feel like not enough Canadians know that he's training in Montreal. He's been here for years.
I didn't know, and I've been watching the UFC since I was fucking 10 years old. You know what I mean?
Yeah, he's been here for like 4 or 5 years actually.
That's crazy. I had no. I heard the name. I saw I know the fight you're talking about, but honestly, sometimes I don't even look at the corners to see who's coaching. You know what I mean? I just watch the fight.
Yeah.
I'll notice. Sometimes I'll notice for us. I'll be like, oh fuck, that guy's from Montreal. Like I had no idea.
Yeah, but okay, good, man. So I'll let him know about your show, and like I'll tell him to come on, man. I want him to be promoted here because he's a great guy.
Absolutely. So I have 3 questions, then Alex is going to close it off with 2 last questions. So they're very simple. It's just straight up. Who has the best jiu-jitsu in the UFC?
In the UFC, Ryan Hall.
Okay, that's a good answer. I met Ryan Hall at a gas station once. Weird guy, nice guy. Yeah.
Yeah.
I met him at the corner of Souvenir and Curie Labelle. I don't know why he was there.
Yeah.
But okay,
I would say Ryan Hall, Damian Maia, right? This would be close one.
Hard not to say Damian Maia. Even Dorino, you can throw him in there. I used to say Gunnar Nelson back in the day because Gunnar Nelson's jiu-jitsu was slick.
He's fantastic.
Yeah, slick jiu-jitsu.
Fantastic.
Best striking in the UFC.
Oh man, listen, it's tough. It's tough. Okay, it's very tough, very very tough. Okay, but for now, I would say as it is right now, I'll put a draw between Wonderboy and Adesanya.
I say the exact same thing. We're on the same page, Jamin. I mean, I think Wonderboy. I say Wonderboy is leaps and bounds ahead of a lot of people because what he does, hands down, wide stance. He's able to create the distance and be able to close the distance whenever he wants, and he throws those uppercuts like faster than anybody I've ever seen.
What he did to Vicente Luque was insane.
It was a piece. It was a piece.
It was crazy. And let me tell you something. Jeff Neal is no chump. Okay, this guy is a murderer. Okay, this guy is a killer, man. And even at one point, Wonderboy asked him if he was okay. I don't know if you noticed that.
Yeah, he did because he felt bad because Wonderboy is Wonder nice guy. He's the nicest guy in the world.
Super nice guy. He's like me. Super nice guy.
Yeah.
I'm a little bit meaner than him, but I like to think I'm a nice guy. But that's how amazing he is. He's so good at striking. He's asking if you're all right in there.
But it's he kind of feels bad. He probably was there at some point in his career. You know what I mean? But actually, I don't think he lost up until he technically lost to Woodley, which I really gave him that win. But
yeah, man. Listen, one thing that's crazy for me is Woodley's a great guy. Yeah. Woodley's a great guy. But during that era of him and Wonderboy and all that stuff, he was calling himself the greatest welterweight of all time.
That makes sense to me.
But listen, Matt Hughes was amazing. George was fantastic, and neither of them had draws.
Neither of them had draws. They had losses.
Neither of them had draws. You lose and you win again.
And the fact that he got scared. Well, I mean, we'll change the subject. But Woodley, when they called majority draw and he's like didn't know what happened, he got scared. It means that he actually thought he lost the fight.
Yeah,
that's the way I see it.
I'm
Like he wasn't confident in the fight, and he knew that he lost the fight. Anyway, I could talk about Woodley for years and how he kind of regressed.
He was supposed to come train at TriStar in Montreal also. I don't know what happened with that.
I think it would have done him good. I mean, not that and those guys isn't good, but
those guys are great. But sometimes like even Kevin Lee, he switched it up. He did amazing.
Yeah.
His last fight wasn't so great when he got choked out, but he had issues with the weight cut that week. Things went not so great.
But who do you get choked out to? One of the guys that the choke out.
You got choked out by Oliveira, no?
Yeah, the choke out artist, like the guy that just chokes.
Yeah, exactly. But the thing is, it shouldn't have happened. Man. It shouldn't have happened. And the game plan was to avoid that choke, man.
Yeah.
Okay.
That was the game plan: is avoid that choke.
Listen, it happens. Okay, it happens. Things go wrong in it. Listen, when the lights are on, sometimes they burn. Okay, sometimes things go wrong. But he had a rough fight week leading up to that fight, and I think it played a major role because I think he beats Oliveira, man.
I think it'll be a nice fight. Last question before Alex goes is who's the best fighter? You can't say GSP. Who's the Who's the best fighter?
Who's the best fighter live right now?
No, all time.
Oh, all time.
Can't say GSP.
Damn, all time.
Because it's not that I'm not saying it's not GSP. I'm saying because I know your answer.
No, I'm gonna say GSP because for me it's hands down GSP.
Yeah.
You gotta see. I'm gonna have to put Khabib. Who's more dominant than Khabib?
All right, so it's not John Jones. Good stuff.
No, there's no way it's John Jones.
There's no way it's John Jones. I like that, and I can probably guess why.
You know why?
Yeah, I know why, and kind of on the same page. That's why I say GSP.
Once you have this mark, you're out of this ranking. Mm-hmm. It's finished.
It's tough.
And I love John Jones. Me and John Jones are boys.
Yeah, you guys share camps, right? For the
Greg
camps, Jackson's TriStar, you guys.
I love John Jones. I love Greg Jackson's, but you're out of that list.
Yeah, exactly. Alex.
Okay, so here's the most important question now.
Yeah, tell me.
So you're Lebanese.
Yeah.
I love Lebanese food. Terry loves the Lebanese food, right, Terry?
I have to. My girlfriend's Lebanese.
So we want to know, what's your favorite Lebanese restaurant in Montreal or Laval? And the answer cannot be your mom's food.
No. Listen, unfortunately for my Lebanese peeps, okay, the best place for me right now for Arabic food, it's Monty.
Oh, Monty's good.
They have
they have that French toast knefe. I had it. It's unbelievable.
Yeah, they had it.
Amazing.
Listen, their fattoush is incredible, and even he opened now a little side restaurant in there too where he sells fried chicken. That's freaking amazing too. I forget the name of the place.
I gotta check it out.
Yeah, what's it called, babe? Cali MTL, man. Alex, you're from Cali, you gotta hit up Cali. When they come to Montreal, you're gonna go eat there, Cali MTL.
I love it. Yeah, I mean,
perfect.
We'll go check it out, Alex. All right, man. I really appreciate it, man. That was an awesome conversation. I could talk to you for hours, man. And
man. Next when I'm having my next fight, I'll come on. We'll promote it, and if you guys want, and then I'll also talk to Arnold, man.
Absolutely, man. We'd love it. Yeah, we'd love it.
Perfect, man.
I'm friendly with Louis on Twitter, so we're gonna get Louis to come on.
Okay, great. Yeah, get Louis on. He's supposed to be fighting soon too, hopefully.
Yeah, exactly. So we'll get him to come on, and so we really appreciate it, man. Honestly, it was a great talk. I could talk.
Guys, thank you very much.
And we'll take it from there. Alex,
guys, thanks for hitting me up, man. I appreciate it.
Thank you, man.
So again,
good luck for your future fights.
Thank you, man.
This
episode is brought to you by Mike's BBQ Rub MTL. We just heard a news press release. They're gonna do a labneh with za'atar mix just for the
man, they gotta make a barbecue tube sauce. That's what they gotta make.
A barbecue tube sauce?
Toom, garlic sauce.
Oh yeah, of course. Okay, I'll tell them. They have a sick barbecue sauce too. So go on the website. Hot Sauce 10 for 10% off the entire site. Best stuff. Rubs, mustard, truffle sauce. It's unbelievable. I'm Terry. That was Alex. Ayman Zahabi. Thank you. I appreciate it. Peace.
Bye, guys.